Hello listeners and welcome to episode 82. This week's episode is dedicated to our Explorer of the Week, Toby Fomes. Toby, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. It came through without any accents on the vowels, but so do get in touch. We are fallible people after all, although some might say deeply flawed. Yes, so Toby is Explorer of the Week by virtue of having signed up to our Patreon at level 2 or above, and by doing so, that helps us to keep on doing what we love and which we know that you appreciate as well. So yeah, have a look at our Patreon. It's on patreon.com/aliens explored. There are many levels available and many things on offer, including regular new t-shirts to keep your wardrobe refreshed, as well as other things such as joining our discussion or even meeting us at a location of your choosing within reason. So yes, do have a look, do sign up, and once again, thank you very much to our Explorer of the Week, Toby Fomes. Enjoy the show.
Aliens Explored is a podcast exploring famous and obscure cases of UFO sightings, alien abductions and other strange events from both a believing and a sceptical perspective whilst keeping an open mind. I'm Stu Jackson, a professional actor and amateur ufologist with a particular interest in the crop circle phenomenon. I'll be debating that otherworldly visitations are real. The truth is out there.
And I'm Neil Kelly. I'm a professional actor as well and used to work for the military as an intelligence analyst. I'll be arguing from a more doubtful point of view. I mean, it's all a bit far-fetched, isn't it?
On the 8th of March 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappeared shortly after takeoff with 227 passengers and 12 crew members on board. The Boeing 777, which was en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, deviated erratically from its flight plan before presumably crashing into the Indian Ocean. In the absence of hard evidence, many theories and conspiracies were advanced, among which was the claim that extra-terrestrials had had a hand in the tragedy. Join us on Aliens Explored as we investigate the mysterious disappearance of Flight Mike Hotel 370.
Welcome back, listeners, to Aliens Explored, your weekly podcast where we look at UFOs, UAPs, EBEs, ETs, strange and mysterious things from beyond our ken. I'm one of your hosts, presenters, call us what you will, Stu Jackson.
And I'm your other host, presenter, call me what you will, Neil Kelly.
Hi, Neil. Before we get into what I call you, how are you doing? Are you well?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Very, very, quite an intriguing episode we have today. Quite a thoughtful one. Obviously quite a serious situation that happened. This was back on the 8th of March 2014 when the Boeing 777 Mike Hotel 370 disappeared. Malaysian Airlines. Do you remember the event? I remember the event.
I remember the event. Yeah, in fact, because there were two Malaysian Airlines aircraft that went down in a short space of time. There was Mike Hotel 370, and I think about 2 weeks later, another one was shot down over the Ukraine en route, I think from Holland to Malaysia. It put my heart in my mouth because for a while I thought my daughter was on that plane. I knew she was heading out to the Far East from Holland. And when I rang her, having heard about it, it went straight to voicemail. So, but no. She was fine. She went the other way. She took a different route that didn't go over the Ukraine.
Well, that's something. Obviously, we feel for the people who were on board.
Absolutely, yeah. And then you feel guilty. I'm glad it was someone else's kid who was killed rather than mine.
I doubt you're glad it's someone else's. I think you're just relieved it's not yours.
You're relieved and a little bit guilty.
Yeah, well, I think it's
because suddenly it's not so bad, and actually it is. It's every bit as bad because
just not as close to home.
Not as close to home, but
I think that's understandable.
They say, you save one life, you save the world. I'm sure the opposite is true. If you destroy one life, you destroy the world.
That's real thoughtful stuff. Interestingly, I had a sort of a bit of a vicarious sort of connection to when this flight disappeared, because at the time I was dating a Polish woman, Beata. She I was about to say she was called, still is, probably. But yeah, her brother was flying back to Poland from Malaysia at the time. So when heard about this flight disappearing, she didn't know if he was on that.
Okay.
And then I think it was like a couple of days before she heard from him, and he was fine. But yeah, so it really stood out for me because she was staying at my place at the time as well. So of course, it was like you soak up every bit, as I imagine you did, Neil. You soak up every bit of news. Every news story that comes on, you're glued to it. So so it was quite vivid for me as well. Like I say, more vicariously, but but very, very sad for everyone concerned. 239 people on board, and this airline disappeared. Now, so far, our listeners might be wondering what this has to do with the UFOs.
Yes.
You've got a look on your face, Neil, that says not just the listeners. So 4 years later, there is a Twitter user by the name of Ty. Now, I am absolutely certain, not the same Ty who we have mentioned as our listener on this show.
Who knows, Ty? If it is you, get in touch.
Well, that's a Ty who spells his name Tye online. This Ty is TY.
Okay.
So, so this Twitter user, Ty, receives a voice message from an unknown source that is a series of numbers and NATO phonetic lettering, Neil.
Yeah.
That when translated, it said S, as in Sierra, S, danger, SOS. It is dire for you to evacuate. Be caution, they are not human. 042933964230. SOS, danger, SOS. Now, some users claim that the numbers are a set of coordinates, and when you space them out every two numbers and put that into Google, it takes you to a place in Malaysia, very close to where flight Mike Hotel 370 vanished off radar. So this has led to a lot of speculation that the voicemail was a recording of the doomed plane's encounter with an alien spacecraft. They are not human.
Now, there are all sorts of theories about what happened to this plane, aren't there? People have all sorts of ideas about it.
I was trying it might have gone north instead of south. Because
I've got lots of tabs open, and I did find that message. The first thing that struck me is that SOS only has any meaning in Morse code. Do you know what SOS stands for?
Save our souls.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't stand for anything. But do you know what it sounds like in Morse?
3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots.
Yeah, and they just do that. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just simply a very recognisable string. Anyone, even someone who's not trained in Morse code, could hear that and say, "Oh shit, there's a distress signal coming in." But yeah,
it's just simplicity.
For its simplicity, it's simply that. So it wouldn't make any sense in a written message to write SOS because
I thought it was save our souls.
Yeah,
that's save our souls, not save our souls.
That would just be That would just be SA. It would save our souls. Yeah, save our souls.
Yeah. That's interesting. I know May Day. A lot of people don't think, well, why name it after a bank holiday? Because 1st of May is known as May Day here in the UK and is a bank holiday.
Well, yeah, and obviously a pilot in a stricken aircraft going down into the sea will want to celebrate that great workers' holiday.
But in fact, that's from the French. May Day, save me.
Yeah, help me, save me. Yeah,
yeah. Anyway, yes. So this young chap Ty gets this message. It seems there's no connection between him and any UFO. There seems to be absolutely no connection, but a lot of people find it obviously quite creepy and very, very strange. He starts getting other messages. Some people are saying it's a police code. Well, it's a NATO phonetic code. Other groups of numberings are then received by him. In Indonesian, in Malay, a couple in Morse code, one of which was a grouping of 5 separate numbers of 28, 5, 25, 1, 18, 5, 21, 11, 9, 14, 7, 15, 22, 5, 18, and 41818. The Indonesian message, when it's put through Google Translate, turned out to be, and the post you just shared about the recording in your phone. And the Morse code that he shared on Twitter, apparently users translated that to read, "They are taking over." Some other people said that another Morse code message he received said, translates as, "Message received is well related to Stephen Hawking's death. You are not ready to face them." This was before Stephen Hawking died, of course. Yeah, really, really strange. He then, Ty is then posting on Twitter about people sitting in their car in front of his house, taking photos of his house at 3 a.m. Yeah,
so he got
very strange.
He got visited by the Men in Black. So does he?
It sounds like it. It's all a bit weird.
It's all a bit, but there are all sorts of theories about what happened to this plane. There was lots of speculation that the pilot was having marital problems and had just decided to end it all, to crash the plane into the sea. And there were a few cases around that time of where I think it was they usually involved a co-pilot suddenly locking the pilot out of the flight deck. And of course, the new anti-terrorism measures, it means you really can't get onto the flight deck when someone inside has locked the door.
But that wouldn't explain the lack of wreckage, though, would it?
No, but, well, there was some speculation that the plane had dived vertically into the sea, which would have meant that it would have gone down deep and made it harder to find. There wouldn't have been such a breakup on the surface. It would have broken up as it was travelling downwards.
That makes sense, but if it's doing basically a vertical dive, then you know exactly where to look because it's where it disappeared off radar.
Yes, but the plane was following an erratic flight pattern beforehand, wasn't there? There was something obviously wrong, perhaps some kind of struggle going on. But yeah, this is. I'm taking this. Yeah, I have to fess up. I have to quote them. My sources are the Daily Express and the Daily Mail for our American listeners or other non-British listeners. These papers can get a bit hysterical. But there was a
right wing.
Very right wing.
They make a lot of stuff up. They tell a lot of lies.
Imagine the kind of elderly, bewildered person who voted Brexit and waves a flag for the Queen, and there's your Daily Express reader right there. There's a top aviation safety investigator called John Cox, and he's quoted in both the Mail and the Express as claiming that the mystery has been solved. It was downed as a result of a murder-suicide plot. It was no accident, as many believed. He believes the evidence found so far does not stack up with existing theories, including another theory being shot down by Russia. So that would. There's also speculation that the pilot was trying to take the plane somewhere else. I think he had a flight simulator at home, and it looked like he'd been practicing landing on short runways on other islands in the Indian Ocean. Out towards Diego Garcia, where they thought that it might be a 9/11 style attack on the US base there on Diego Garcia.
Well, do you know he's a pilot? He's got a flight simulator at home, which I can imagine. Yeah, that I don't know, that just sort of makes sense to me. And yeah, practicing landing on short runways. Yes, because when you've got a flight simulator, and if you get it wrong, you're not going to take loads of people with you. That's the place to practice things like that to become a better pilot.
Of course, yeah.
That's not an indication you're about to do it. You're just...
No, but if someone's looking for clues, then wait a minute, he was...
That sounds like a bit of a stretch even to me.
It probably, but they are stretching, aren't they? Another UFO spotter claims he found the wreckage of the plane. It was intact. It's all in one piece, just off the Cape of just off the coast of South Africa.
So where is it?
Under the sea, all in one piece, according to him. But
is he a diver or?
No, he's spotted it on a satellite image from the comfort of his bedroom. There are some photos, and again, disclaimer: this is in the Daily Mail online, and there's a picture of the shore with a red circle drawn on it, and he claims to have found this guy called Scott Waring claims to have found the missing Mike Hotel 370 plane in an 8-month-old Google satellite image. He believes that the remains of a Boeing 777 can be seen beneath the water off the coast of Cape Town in South Africa. But he says, so the Cape of Good Hope is going to have powerful currents moving around it with deep crevices. And since the photo is 8 months old, it could have moved 30 to 60 kilometres away if it's semi-floating under only 4 to 9 feet under the water, he added.
Right.
But then he said, I know there is less than 1% of a chance that this is Mike Hotel 370, but it's better than we had 5 minutes ago, right? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, mate.
You're looking at this picture. Can you see wreckage?
No. Oh, actually, yeah, it looks like something, but it does look like a plane under the water. I mean, but this has happened before, hasn't it? Planes have been lost, certainly in larger expanses of ocean, in the Pacific or wherever, where they just, there's just no way of finding it because it's such a vast expanse of ocean. And the Indian Ocean is pretty... Yeah, the Bermuda... Well, I mean, the Bermuda Triangle, part of the reason it's so mysterious, is that it's a relatively small area, isn't it?
And indeed, we will be talking about that on a future episode.
Of course we will, but it's not. We're not talking thousands, millions of square miles of ocean.
No, that's fair.
So this plane was going completely the wrong direction, wasn't it? Wasn't it supposed to be going from Kuala Lumpur to Shanghai?
There was another theory, that it went north instead of south.
But wasn't it supposed to go north? That it took off towards the north.
Have that the wrong way round.
And circle. So it was heading south. So that the search area is just off the western coast of Australia, when really it should have been heading north to Shanghai.
Okay. But what about these tweets from this guy, Ty?
Who found these alien messages?
Well, it seems hard to tell. Are they messages from aliens, or are they messages warning about it? Are they from messages from one type of alien warning about another type of alien? And then why are they threatening him or warning him off? And why him? He's not a particular UFO person. He's not just a normal Twitter user, it seems. So why him? There were reports of some other people coming forward and saying that they had randomly had the same message, although I've not seen any verification of that. It's thought-provoking, I think.
It is thought-provoking. Another thing that occurred to me, I just came across it by accident just before we started recording this show. I was looking at Alien top secret revealed. Sorry, I've just got to find one.
Do you mean top secret UFO projects declassified?
Top secret UFO projects declassified. Yes. What was I saying? Yes. So there's a documentary on Netflix called Downfall: The Case Against Boeing, that Boeing, through neglect, has put out planes that were not safe to fly. And what happened was that the pilots were getting faulty readings. They were getting readings that they couldn't rely on. The plane was going into a dive, but not telling them it was doing. They realised that and were trying to pull it out of a dive. So it would cause the planes would have gone into an erratic flight pattern before they crashed. And you have to wonder: is this a mechanical failure? Is something being covered up by the Boeing Corporation? Because they have every motivation for doing so. I would think if there is a secret, if there is a cover up in this story, it's more likely to do with something like that.
Okay, so what about these Twitter messages? Do you think it's just something completely unrelated then? I mean, it's only the coordinates being close to where this plane disappeared off radar that have led people to associate it. So do you think it's not connected, or?
I don't know. So there are all sorts of red herrings and crazy theories about this story. Not all of them necessarily crazy, but there are some crazy ones.
And there's something about a disappearance of an airplane like this that does tend to bring out lots of outlandish theories. So there is a case that we discussed some time ago, Neil, that is probably relevant, I think, here. Do you remember when we talked about Skinny Bob?
Yes.
The extraterrestrial, the video footage from Russia. And do you remember the outcome was that it was fake, and it was very cleverly faked, but it was fake. Well, I'm afraid I've done it to you again. Because this whole thing with Ty, Snopes have checked this out, and Snopes as a website, I think, are pretty damn reliable for getting to the bottom of things. No, it was made up basically so he could increase his Twitter followers. And he did. He went to almost 40,000 followers overnight.
I read that, yeah, 40,000.
Yeah.
So, which is a fairly shitty thing to do, isn't it? Hundreds of lives lost.
It is.
And you just create a false rumour about it just to increase your social media profile.
It is. So...
But there are people like that out there.
There are, and it's one of the reasons I wanted us to talk about it. And, it is, it's easy, especially for people like me who want to believe, who want to see the truth in things out there, want to see evidence. Yeah, be careful of what's out there and don't take things on face value, because
but that is part of the human condition, isn't it? And I know from working in an intelligence role, if I give you a piece of information which is quite close to what you already thought was the truth, you're more likely to believe it. If I tell you something that's completely at odds with what you believe, then you're going to be more resistant to that information and more likely to discount it.
Yeah, confirmation bias, isn't it?
Confirmation bias, yeah, but also, just a reluctance to take on information that actually flies in the face of your beliefs. It doesn't fit with what you already believe about the world. You're more likely to just reject it out of hand or forget it. It doesn't fit, so you just ignore it. And there is a tendency in the military to do that. There are all sorts of, I'm sure I've ranted on about this before, generals who they receive a piece of intelligence that just doesn't fit with what they want to do, so they ignore it.
Yeah,
they say, "Oh no, that can't be right." And I suppose you got to be fairly arrogant to be in certain jobs anyway, haven't you? You got to be fairly arrogant to be a general in an army.
They like to call it confidence.
Yeah, confidence, but you're prepared to bet other people's lives on that information not being true because you don't like it.
That's exactly right. However, it's got to be said, for the full purposes of sharing all sides of the story, there are those people out there who still say that Ty was telling the truth. And he's been silenced by
the deep state,
whatever.
The men in black, they've been to visit him.
The aliens, whatever. No, I don't think that's the case. I think this is all made up. But what do you think, listeners? Do let us know your thoughts on this particular case. You can let us know via the usual means. You can email us, aliensexplored@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. And if you are one of our Patreon patrons at any tier, you get exclusive access to the Aliens Explored Discord server, so you can chat to us there as well. Anyway, do join us next time when we'll be looking at a particular figure from ufology. We'll be looking at the career and life of Dr. David Clarke, the UFO author and journalist.
Whoa, look forward to that.
Don't want to miss that one.
The life and work of Dr. David Clarke.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll remember what I thought about our friend Nick Pope.
Yes.
And,
Hope you're listening, Nick.
I don't think he does. But we'll be looking at someone else. That's David Clarke. So don't miss that one. In the meantime, keep watching there was Twitter channels for fake news, and you never know, something true might be in there as well. And of course, keep watching this stuff. Take care for now.
Catch you next time.
Bye.
Aliens Explored is a Fecal Films production in association with Juicy Falls. Music by Darren Mafucci and editing by Stu Jackson. Find us on Twitter or Facebook by searching Aliens Explored, or visit us on aliensexplored.com.